What's getting good, y'all? It is your boy, Neighborhood, and we're back today with another episode to help you heal your way to a better you. Alright? And today's topic is about psoriasis and eczema. Now, before I continue further with this video, this is a disclaimer that I am not a doctor by medical degree, though I do have training and certification in the healing arts, and I do hope that this helps you or gets you further into finding a solution that you can help yourself today. All right, these are natural, all of the earth remedies, and they basically, you might as well try them. They're usually basically cheap, or if not free. You might have them laying around in the cupboard. So I definitely recommend at least giving them a shot, especially if you do suffer through these diseases, like I personally did for many, many, many years without avail. So, with that said, let's continue forward. Happy healing. Also, if you guys do have a minute, please spend a half millisecond and click that like button, subscribe, share, spread the love. It's all about spreading the knowledge. Thank you very much. So, what is eczema? Based on the nationaleczema.org website, it is the name for a group of conditions that cause the skin to become itchy, inflamed, and have a rash-like appearance. There are 7 types of eczema, which we will not go over. It is very common. In fact, over 31 million Americans have some form of eczema. It can begin during childhood, adolescence, or adulthood, and can range from mild to severe. Eczema is not contagious. You can't catch it from someone else. While the exact cause of it is unknown, researchers do know who develop eczema do so that people who develop eczema do so because of a combination of genes and environmental triggers. When an irritant or an allergen from outside or inside the body switches on the immune system, it produces inflammation. It is this inflammation that causes the symptoms common to most types of eczema. Those symptoms are itchy, dry, sensitive skin, inflamed, discolored, rough, leathery, scaly patches of skin, oozing, crusting, areas of swelling. You may have all of these or only just a few. You might have flare-ups and your symptoms could go away entirely. The best way to find out is to consult your medical professional and who can look into your skin and ask you about your symptoms, and they may recommend you a bunch of OTC remedies because there's no cure for eczema, but there are treatments. And so as you can see, basically it's just about managing your flare-ups, knowing your triggers, implementing a daily bathing and moisturizing routine, use OTC and prescription medicine as prescribed. So basically that is eczema, and psoriasis is basically the same thing. It's a little more severe, also non-contagious. It is a disease which the skin cells grow in numbers faster than normal, producing rashes on the body. Normally, the cells on the surface of the skin are shed as new cells grow beneath. In psoriasis, the swift buildup of skin cells collect on the surface of the skin as scales or plaques. So you'll get all these types of psoriasis, and the symptoms are very basically the same. Chronic, salmon-colored, scaly area of the skin, sudden onset of scaly redness, excessive itching, pitted nails, painful swollen joints, redness, pain, or tearing of the eyes, pustular, swelling of the eyelids, fever, and so there's apparently causes, right? Infections, injury, stress, exposure to cold, alcohol, but these, and then of course your famous OTCs that they want us to take, right? So basically it's they have some sort of treatments, which I do like some of them: daily sun exposure, sea bathing for the minerals, moisturizers such as petroleum jelly, power preparations, corticosteroid cream and ointments, anthralin, vitamin A analogs, salicylic acid, vitamin D, corticosteroids, oatmeal baths, solar radiation. I don't know about that, but and of course, if it gets severe, you can try these. I mean, I would totally recommend these if you are that far down the rabbit hole. But otherwise, I would at least look into some of these other things that I want to discuss with y'all. Going back to eczema, causes and triggers. Don't know exactly what causes eczema. However, for most types, researchers believe a combination of genes and triggers are involved. They usually have overreactive immune system triggered by a substance outside or inside the body, producing inflammation, as I said. Could be a mutation of a gene called filigran. And so there's triggers, dry skin, irritants, metal, cigarette smoke, soaps. This is very superficial, but it's all avoidable if you just avoid this stuff, right? And then you wouldn't have the eczema, but you still get the eczema like I did. So managing the itch, there isn't really there's skin relief, as they say, but and acupuncture could help too. I would love to recommend that as well. And I mean, yeah, I totally like some of these skin cleansers with low pH. um, Apple cider vinegar bath for sure, and it can lead to neurodermatitis, which you don't want to get too intense with this. Really want to start once you notice slight or subtle or chronic side effects and symptoms. So as we continue, I would like to discuss with you all these remedies that I do have. So as I've said, I've personally gone through eczema myself, and I used to have the scales on my skin. I used to have them on the back of my arms where my shirts would be rubbing against, and I couldn't wear faux furry things. It would just be chronically itchy and just annoying basically, and you really can't you just get so preoccupied, you can't really focus and wear clothing. Oh, when I forgot to add, when I got them on my legs, I would basically scratch the surface of my skin, and you could just see the blood thinning the skin out, and not to mention the ashy chalkiness of the scratch that it left on the skin. Basically, it was all on my leg area. So as I scratched this, it would be bleeding as I was scratching it. It was really that bad. Just to let you know that how severe I had it. So at some point, it just really got to the breaking point where I couldn't take it anymore, and so I had to look into alternative sources that basically wouldn't rely on these OTCs and these other questionable thousand ingredients of who knows what. So I took the solution into my own hands, and basically I found these few natural remedies of the earth to be helpful to my own personal experience, and I do hope they help you as well. So my first recommendation would be coconut oil and fermented cod liver oil. Now, basically, I just want to focus on coconut oil. Now, if you notice in these websites and your research, if you do your due diligence, you'll notice that many of these websites and even the actual eczema.org website have very superficial recommendations for really helping you. Now, some of these are very well intentioned, and they definitely, such as the sunbathing and the sea bathing, I really think they would help. But, you know, it is really, as I say, superficial and just over the, the surface of your skin. What about the insides? What is the problem that is coming from within? And so, as it is autoimmune disorder, we should really look into ingesting half of these suggestions that they give us. Now, as I said, they're well intentioned. So, such as the apple cider vinegar bath, it's well intentioned, and I'm sure it will help your superficial, skin, but I would also suggest ingesting it as well. And I would just go by a tablespoon to begin with. If you've never had apple cider vinegar, it is very strong. But otherwise, I would totally recommend taking it, microdosing it day by day and daily, and until your symptoms alleviate. And additionally, this goes along with the coconut oil. So, coconut oil, instead of just putting it on superficially, which I would do, before I put my clothes on top of my skin. I also ingested the coconut oil by a tablespoon a day, and eventually you can take 2 tablespoons or what have you, but if it's so intense and severe, and gradually work your way down, which I have to about every other day, or sometimes I can miss 2 days or whatnot. I mean, maybe even a week if I really get lazy. So I would totally suggest that, and along with fermented fermented cod liver oil. Now, my favorite brand is Greener Pastures, and I found this maybe 10 years ago, and I swear by it. They don't even sponsor me, but I would love a sponsorship from them. But I totally recommend fermented cod liver oil by Greener Pastures with the butter blend. I will add the link below. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that, but I will do it anyways because I really, really, really stand by this product. It is just quality, and basically the whole my thinking is uh, the oil is should be helpful to replenishing, at least some sort of moisturization within your body, and ingesting the ACV, which it's known to be a great antiseptic, would totally help as well. Now, my next few recommendations are going to be also foodstuffs. The next one is huge, and you may have heard of it. It's an India spice called turmeric. Turmeric, with the main ingredient being curcumin, has been shown to, well, it's basically been used in Ayurveda medicine and Chinese medicine for centuries. And basically, it's known to be a powerful anti inflammatory agent and has been used as such. And I totally recommend ingesting it. But of course, it can be used topically. But I totally think that the topical use might stain your clothing. So you really want to be careful with that. So if you want to ingest it, I would recommend it with tea and honey and hot water. You can put it in a pot or with the hot water from, if you have one of those dispensers. Otherwise, I would also look into something called golden milk, which is a traditional Indian recipe with milk and turmeric and honey, I believe. I would look into that. Otherwise, if you really want to go raw, you could just put it in a cup like I do of water and just chug it down and then have some sort of other chaser, uh, as you want to say, to follow it. But that's just me. So, it's really up to you. You could take it however you like. But I do think it is a strong, 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 strong proponent of basically anti-inflammatory properties that you should utilize. And also it does help with joints, which is huge for the senior population. I use it with for my grandma and my mom and dad, so I totally recommend that. Now, my last recommendation is boron, and as we can see here on this website, basically PubMed, a National Library of Medicine, is having some articles that show the utility of boron in dermatology and skin. So boron compounds were used for therapies for dermatologic conditions. And the results have shown that crisaborole 2% topical solution reduced atopic dermatitis lesions by 60% when compared to pre-treatment baseline, which probably means nothing. Crisaborole maintains its dose-dependent effect in treatment of psoriasis and significantly reduced psoriasis and plaques when compared to controls. Adverse effects were mild. Frequency of events varied between studies. It was well tolerated when applied to sensitive skin. Significantly reduced and eliminated onychomycosis with minimal side effects compared to placebo. Effective in treating recalcitrant onychomosis. Boron-based compounds form stable interactions with enzyme targets and are safe medications for treatments of atopic dermatitis, psoriasis, and onychomycosis. The mild and rare side effects of typical boron-based compounds may make them ideal for individuals with sensitive skin and pediatric populations. Now, with that said, boron is a huge, huge integral part of minerals that we really need and are essential to us. So I really recommend you just go out and get a basic boron complex supplement and make sure you keep that in your daily or weekly regimen, as it can help with osteoporosis and other bone joint related diseases. And as I said prior with the turmeric, this is great for senior citizens and aging, you know, deficient bodies. So as I was, and my whole as many people just like you are going through. So please give it a look, see, and check it out. And I just want to add, if you don't know about honey, please look into it. That is all. Now feel free to get any of these products at your local farmers market, which we do support. But of course, you can check into your favorite website, retailer, and just find some of these goods for very cheap and as low as $4, as you can see here. The boron complex that I use more, and maybe the priciest thing of today's little segment is the greener pasture product, but this is high quality stuff. I believe from Scandinavia or Iceland. Anyway, just very high quality stuff. Do your own research, y'all. Much luck. Alrighty, y'all. So my last little suggestion is basically regarding lifestyle. So when you have psoriasis and eczema, even though I don't really know about psoriasis, but I figure it's the same thing, similar to eczema, where clothing gets really bothersome. I mean, I would look into, if you can afford it, affordable solutions as far as bedding and clothing, detergent. So basically what you're putting on your body, what you're washing these clothes that you put on your body, not to mention the chemicals that you put on your body, daily with these washes and shampoos and whatnot. Just kind of take stock of your life and really investigate what you are putting on and in your body, and just think about that. Ruminate on it when you're sitting on the pot, or just when you got some time driving or whatnot. Just think about what you're putting in and on your body, and then consider if most of those are necessary, and if they might be irritants, they might be if they might be actually annoying you. So with that said, I really do hope, as I say, these tips were helpful. If you need any assistance or just want someone to talk to, holla at your boy. I'm always here. Neighborhood out. And of course, today's shirt is by the famous legend Bruce Lee. Make sure you catch his daughter's little series called Warrior. I'm not sure if it's on HBO Cinemax, but check it out. It's really dope. And you can get cool stuff like this on their website. Bruce Lee is the man. Much love. I hope Sharon doesn't see this video. Peace out.